ในโลกนี้นะฮะจะมีสักกี่โปรแกรมที่ประกอบไปด้วยผู้บริหารจำนวนมากที่มันเรียนนะฮะผู้บริหารระดับสูงเลยนะแล้วก็เรียนโปรแกรมเนี้ยปีเดียวจบด้วยแล้วก็ได้เจอเพื่อนต่างชาติมากด้วยที่สำคัญคือโลเคชันก็คืออยู่แทบจะใกล้เรียกว่าแหล่งเทคโนโลยีในอเมริกานะฮะที่พี่พูดมาทั้งหมดเนี่ยมันรวมอยู่ในมหาลัยเดียวกันเลยและเป็นโปรแกรมเดียวกันเลยนะฮะก็คือ USC IBEAR MBA นั่นเองเนาะวันนี้พี่เมฆเชิญไดเรคเตอร์ของโปรแกรมนี้นะฮะบินตรงมาจากอเมริกาเลยมิสเตอร์คาวเนี่ยมาพูดคุยกันกับพี่เมฆแล้วก็อัลลี่ที่เป็นคอนซัลแทนท์ของ Mission to Top-U นะฮะเดี๋ยวเรามาดูกันว่าเขาคุยกันเรื่องอะไรบ้างและจะได้อินไซต์ต่างๆมากมายในเรื่องอะไรบ้างในวันนี้นะครับ
Hello everyone and welcome to this event between USC IBEAR MBA and Mission to Top-U. We are delighted to be joined by Carl, who is the director of the USC IBEAR MBA Program. Carl, thanks very much for your time today.
Alistair, thank you for giving me the time to talk about our program with your prospective candidates that you work with.
My pleasure. And yeah, basically today we'll do our best to ask all the questions that you may have about USC's IBEAR MBA program. Obviously a program that a lot of our students have a great interest in, so hopefully today we can shed some light on every aspect of the program. Carl, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us how you came to work for USC?
So I'm Carl Voigt. I'm the director of the IBEAR MBA program at the moment, but I'm also a professor of strategy. I've been at USC for 30 plus years now. But like many of you, I was an international student. I decided that getting an MBA and getting an MBA in the US was something that I wanted to do. And unfortunately, my MBA is so old that they probably want to retire it. It's expired because I got mine 40 years ago, but it was truly an adventure. And so I went to the US, got my MBA, and decided that I would get a PhD and went into the academic side of things. So that's my story. That's how I got to be at USC as a teacher, and they said, "Yep, your turn, run the program."
Awesome. Well, let's talk about USC and specifically the IBEAR MBA. What would you say are the main selling points of the program?
I'm probably going to go with two or three big ones. Number one, we are arguably the first internationally focused one-year MBA program in the US. And what we mean by that is it gives an opportunity. It has an internationally flavored curriculum, but mostly it brings in students from all over the world. And you get this amazing one-year experience where you learn how to do business with people from Korea, China, Japan, India, Indonesia, Russia, Peru. That's one reason. Number two, it's 1 year. Very few people these days can afford, particularly if you're mid-career, to take 2 years out of your career to lose your salary and upgrade your skills at the same time. A thing that USC in general and in particular our MBA program is very, very strong with is the alumni network. We have a global alumni network, and the people in the program are able to draw on people that are alums. There's something in the water at USC, and that people will help other alums. So that would be perhaps the top big things of why you would choose us. Number one, we are a very strong international program. Number two, we are a program designed for experienced professionals. You're going to be in a room full of people with 12 plus years of experience, and so you're going to be talking with people that have done stuff. You're not there with younger people. And then thirdly, USC has a fabulous network.
We're seeing one-year MBA programs grow in popularity. What sets USC IBEAR apart from others?
I want to make a distinction about when you say one-year programs. There's two types of one-year programs. There's an MBA in 1 year, and there is a one-year MBA. We are a MBA in 1 year. We take the full 2-year experience and compress it into a 48-week experience. It's intense. A 1-year MBA tends to be something that's offered to people to attract them to get through. It's easier. They cut things out. It becomes more like an executive MBA. It's a little bit easier. The program at USC is a full MBA. It's the same thing that you would get in our 2-year MBA down the hall if you were in their classes.
And moving on a little bit to the application process, with some universities, maybe Thai students are competing with students from all over Asia or Southeast Asia or indeed all over the world. How does USC bucket applicants into different regions?
Well, I'm going to answer it in a couple of different ways. One is we're always looking for the best athlete. All right, we're looking for the best candidate wherever they come from. They could be Russian, they could be German, they could be Nigerian, they could be Thai. All right, but we want, because of the nature of our program being one where it is an international experience, we need diversity. And so we are actively managing to get diversity in the program. So if we get the right candidates and the candidates are qualified, we will admit the Thai. You're not going to compete with Indonesians. You're not competing with Japanese or Chinese. We want Thai students in our program. So the answer is, yeah, you're competing to be in a top program. You've got to be good, right? You've got to bring experience to the classroom. But once you do that, if you're one of the best people in Thailand and you're aiming to get to a top university or in somewhere in the world, apply to us and we'll give you a serious consideration.
And obviously a very competitive program. Is there any particular attributes that really stand out to you when assessing potential students?
So as we said, our IBEAR MBA program is a one-year program designed for experienced professionals. Emphasis on experience. So think about it this way. If your x-axis is experience and your y-axis is horsepower as measured by academic scores like GMAT, undergrad GPA, we're always going to pick somebody with more practical work experience. Okay? We're looking for the people who bring tremendous learning experiences to the classroom to share with other people. So that's the one thing that we're going to look for in that application. So when you fill it out, make sure that you detail out your leadership experience, the challenges you've had, the people that you've managed, because we're going to look at that and weight that. Yeah, we want to see all the other things too.
And continuing on from that, talking about GMAT, I know that you've got a waiver option for GMAT. Does waiving GMAT affect someone's chances of acceptance, or how do you look at that?
Yes and no. The reason is we want people to put together the most competitive application they possibly can. If you have, 15, 20 years of exceptional leadership experience, then the GMAT really isn't going to matter that much. If you are much less experienced and you don't have those 5, 7 leadership roles that you've been promoted into, we would like you to supplement it with something like the GMAT or the GRE or the executive assessment. We'll take any one of those that gives us a more objective sense of what your academic horsepower is.
If someone was to submit a GMAT score, what would be outstanding for USC?
Well, outstanding would be something closer to 800. But then you would be applying to every program in the world. Now, we truly want to balance the application. So a score in the 600s, obviously higher in the 600s than lower. Again, even then we put it together. If your score is lower, but it's buttressed with some substantial experience and or a great undergrad degree or a master's degree that you've already taken in some area, we put it all together and you build yourself a competitive application package.
So as we know, USC has several different MBA programs. Probably the most notable would be the IBEAR one-year MBA program, as well as the traditional 2-year MBA program. For someone kind of unsure what program to apply to, what kind of advice could you give them?
Well, we have 5 programs. We have 3 that are designed for fully employed people and the 2 that are full-time. And it takes a very unique person that can stop their career. They have the financial resources or they can borrow them to go into a full-time program. The difference between our 1-year IBEAR MBA program and a 2-year MBA program is basically the 2-year program is designed for people that are younger, they have less experience, and they are looking to take an internship and then pivot into a job. The 1-year program is designed for people that have experience and they want to do one of 3 things. They want to accelerate their career, they know the industry, they just want that extra experience so that they can get to the C-level quicker, or they want to pivot, meaning they want to pivot to the United States for a period of time. come and experience what it means to work in the United States and learn. Maybe you'll end up staying or you'll get that experience and bring all that back to your home country, bring it back to Thailand. Or you're going to pivot in industry. You're an engineer and you really do want to get into entertainment. Or you're an IT person and you really want to get into the finance side of things. You want to get into fintech or something like that. The program is designed for that. And the third reason that you take this program is that some people want to birth a business. They want to incubate a business. And so, any one of these three paths is something you would take the 1 year. Our fully employed programs, they're our part-time program, which is designed for people that are younger who, can't for whatever reason quit their job. They take the program over 3 years, 33 months. We have an executive MBA program, which is delivered over 22, 23 months. It's sort of weekend program, but you typically have to have residency for that. And then the last one is we have an online program. And there may be people in Thailand that would like to consider that, but that would mean getting up at a very, very early hour because we have both asynchronous and synchronous learning in that program.
What kind of scholarships are available through the IBEAR MBA program?
We do have scholarships. Again, these scholarships are available, the high-end scholarships are available to the absolute best and most competitive candidates. I will admit on camera that these scholarships are not large. They're not the same kind of scholarships that you would get if you were applying to a 2-year program. But there are scholarships you would want to apply early because once the scholarships are taken, they're gone. And the only way that you would get them back is somebody who got one decides not to attend and the scholarship becomes available. So apply early.
So a concern that some of MTU students have is about finding employment in the US after they graduate from an MBA program. How does IBEAR's MBA program support students looking to stay in the US?
So you're touching a really, really soft spot, a point of contention for our students, not just at our school, but at any US school, because as I mentioned before, some people want the experience to pivot to the United States and have a work experience. One of the things that is important for people to know about our program is it's STEM certified, so that if you get a job that is in the STEM area, you get an extra 2 years of extension so you can work for 3 years, which makes it easier. Now, it's hard. It is very hard for an international student who is not work authorized to find a job in the US. There are a number of companies that will just simply put up the no sign. However, if you are experienced, if you have the skills that a company will need, they will bring you in. Our placement data is very strong. People end up with jobs, perhaps, not necessarily that C-level job to start with, but they end up with jobs that they can leverage into permanent positions in the United States or to take the experience and return back again. So what do? We start even before the program begins with giving people access. We bring in our career specialists to work with people, giving them a sense of the process of what they got to go through, getting their resume, learning what it's like to look and apply for a job in the United States, because it's different than other countries. We have workshops. We have workshops on, telling your story. How can you tell your story better? Getting your resume, your short 2-page resume, and then your long resume ready. We guide people to help them reach out through LinkedIn, through contacts to start doing informational interviews. I tell our students you should be doing 2 informational interviews a week, because by the time you're 40 weeks into the program, you've got 80 people out there that are headhunting for you, and they'll be telling you about job opportunities. You bring experience, you bring talent, you're going to find a job. Is it easy? No, but you will find a job. Our students do, and they look back at the experience at the IBEAR MBA program as being the reason that they were able to make that pivot into the United States.
Mm-hmm. And do you find that typically most students return to their home country after the program, or do you have a percentage of how many stay in the US?
Well, our IBEAR MBA program has sponsored students, so companies send them to us for the 1-year experience, and we can have quite a number, 25, 30%, so they obviously come home. There are some people that are coming from family businesses, and they've come to us because they're looking for that experience, and they might stay a year or 2 in the US because the family doesn't want them to come home right away. and then they come back to the family business. Some people can't, wait to get home. They've got a business idea. They've got people back home. They've got opportunities. Now they've got their MBA. They do want to go home. But I would argue that the majority of people who make it to the U.S. at least want to stay in the U.S. for a little bit of a time period. And many people, myself included, I never intended 44 years ago when I came to the U.S. to get my MBA that I would still be in the U.S. working in the U.S. So everybody's story is different.
Yeah. So the IBEAR MBA program is famous for its focus on experiential learning. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, actually, let me broaden that to say USC Marshall. USC Marshall was the first university business school to require all its MBAs to do an overseas experience. So we started that in the mid-90s. The IBEAR MBA program has its own international experiential learning program where we travel for a long week, an 8 to 10 day experience. We pick a country. Prior to COVID, we were visiting China. Recently, we've been visiting Indonesia. But we also do short trips across the border into Mexico because we're close to the border. In addition to that, we have what we call our DELP, Domestic Experiential Learning Program, where because most of our students are from India, China, from Germany, Russia, wherever, learning about US companies is just as interesting as getting on a plane and going somewhere else. And so we use the extensive network of Southern California businesses to go visit them. We'll put people on planes, go up to Seattle, and visit companies in different parts of the US so people can have this sort of other experience that enlivens what they're doing with their classroom learning. We also put a lot of emphasis on executive development, programs where we bring in specialists on, how do you deal with difficult conversations? How do you run meetings? Because as you get up in the organization, those are skills that become really, really important skills. We put a lot of emphasis on developing the full executive portfolio of skills, not just the knowledge, but the skills that go with it.
Okay, so that sounds great. Carl, thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak with us today. Really insightful, really interesting to learn more about the IBEAR MBA program. For anyone looking for more information, do you have an email somewhere they can go?
We do. So our email is, and I'm going to look this up so I don't mess it up, is IBEAR MBA admissions with the S at marshall.usc.edu. But let me leave you with one final thought. If you're thinking about an MBA and you've got all the challenges about committing to doing it, financing it, you have family issues, work issues, the truth is, my experience, having seen many people put the decision off for a year, is next year you're going to have an equal but different set of challenges. So if you're committed to getting your MBA, whether it's with us or any other university, I would argue do it. Go for it. Your dreams will be completely blown out of the water. You will come out a very different person. An MBA is a truly transformational experience. So good luck as you apply to the university of your choice. Thank you so much to Mission to Top-U. I really do appreciate the opportunity to chat with you, Alistair.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Carl.
จบกันไปแล้วนะฮะสำหรับการสัมภาษณ์สุด Exclusive นะฮะระหว่างอัลลี่ที่เป็น Consultant ของ Mission Top-U แล้วก็มิสเตอร์คาวนะฮะที่เป็น Director ของ IBEAR MBA โปรแกรมที่ USC นะก็วันนี้พี่เชื่อว่าน้องๆหลายๆคนก็น่าจะได้อินไซต์หลายๆอย่างนะฮะแล้วก็อย่าลืมนะถ้าเราเป็นคนหนึ่งนะฮะที่ประสบการณ์ทำงานมีมาระดับหนึ่งแล้วนะฮะมากกว่า6 ปีขึ้นไปเนี่ยแล้วก็อยากจะเรียน MBA ที่ค่อนข้าง intense แล้วก็ได้เจอกับผู้บริหารระดับสูงจำนวนมากจากหลากหลายประเทศแล้วก็ปีเดียวจบเนี่ย IBEAR MBA ก็เป็นทางเลือกที่ดีมากที่พี่จะแนะนำให้น้องไปเรียนนะฮะใครที่ยังมีคำถามอยู่อยากถามมิสเตอร์คาวเพิ่มเติมเนี่ยหรืออยากรู้เกี่ยวกับ IBEAR MBA ของ USC เพิ่มเติมก็สามารถทักกันมาได้นะฮะที่ช่องทางของ Mission Top-U นะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นทาง YouTube หรือว่าเนี่ยพิมพ์กันมาในคอมเมนต์นี้เลยก็ได้นะฮะหรือว่าจะทักมาทาง Line Official Account ก็ได้ที่ Line นะฮะ @missiontop-u นะฮะแล้วเดี๋ยวเรามาพบกันใหม่โอกาสหน้านะใครที่ยังไม่ได้ Subscribe คลิปของเรานะก็กด Subscribe ไปเลยนะฮะเราจะได้ไม่พลาดคอนเทนต์ดีๆที่มีส่งตรงมาถึงมือน้องๆเนี่ยแทบจะทุกสัปดาห์เลยนะครับแล้วเดี๋ยวเราพบกันโอกาสถัดไปบ๊ายบายครับ